The new season is here for World of Tanks console, and it is of course Gladiator season. If you've not already watched some of the previous videos that we have done on the season, we're going to cover everything that you need to know about the season, give my own opinions on some of the content that Wargaming have introduced as well. And if you're watching this as it goes live, I will be on stream as well for the official World of Tanks kind of release stream of the new update and giving my opinions live, so you can always join me on World of Tanks' official channel that will be streaming the content, as well as on Twitch as well. So stay tuned, as this update is a pretty big one and there are quite a few things that Wargaming are introducing. They've also got some more info regarding what's coming in the future during this season, and it should be a very interesting one to get into. So first things first, this season is live right now. It will be lasting between the 11th of April and of course the 6th of June. Now that is what, 2 months, so it's a long season. We've been typically moving towards the 2-month mark, or about 6 to 7 week mark for every season that we do have on console, so it gives you plenty of time to be able to get to season rank 100, which is of course where you get all of the season rewards that are kind of actual content within the rewards. Of course, after you go past that you get additional ones, but we'll look into those as we go through. So first things first, we'll look at the reward highlights and season pass info that Wargaming have given to us, because this gives us the exact different things that Wargaming have introduced, both the free rewards, the paid rewards, and the pay even more rewards, which is the free season pass and ultimate season pass bundles that you can pick up. Now, first things first, price wise, you're looking of course at the free rewards being free, then the season pass is 2,000 gold, and then the ultimate season pass is 6,000 gold. So it's quite an expensive season. Well, not necessarily an expensive season, but it is a lot more expensive to get the ultimate season pass, and so whether the rewards are worth that, I guess you'll have to wait and see. So what exactly are the rewards? So for the free season pass, if you simply just play the game, you don't purchase the season pass, which is definitely the best value for money thing that you can purchase in the game, because not only do you get to purchase the season for 2,000 gold, you will also then get your gold back from the season, which means that effectively the season was free other than the initial amount that you had to pay, because you get your gold back, and then in the next season that is released on the console you'll be able to purchase the next one and it won't cost you anything, so you'll have the gold on your account. Plus, when you do purchase the actual season pass, you'll be rewarded with itself a few key cards that are additional, which give you guaranteed gold and have the potential to give you premium tanks out of those key cards too. So not only do you get the gold back, just purely the 2,000 gold from the rewards, but then you get additional gold because of the key cards, and then you can have the chance as well of being able to get premium tanks, and you get all of the bonuses of having them. So the free season will give you the 2D standard commander Ares. So this is, of course, what it looks like. I mean, it is what it is. It's a free commander and basically saves you 500,000 silver. And it gives you 2 skill slots already unlocked, so that's nice. And then the free tank that you can pick up at level 100 is the Centurion Mark 5/1 RAAC, which is actually a tank I really enjoy. And we'll do a review of all of the tanks that have been released with the season during the next few days, so you guys will understand which is the best reward. And if you're kind of wavering on the side of purchasing the ultimate season pass, hopefully that will give you a good idea of what to expect during that time. But first things first, of course, the Centurion Mark 5/1 RAAC. It's a very good tank. I actually kind of like it. It's not overpowered or anything like that. So at least we've got that. And then that is literally it for the free rewards. Of course, you get like silver, you get some kind of small rewards, things like consumables and that sort of thing as well. But these are like the key rewards and milestones that you can get. And that's at level 75 and 100 respectively. But when you then move on to the paid season pass, you do get additional rewards at every level. So that's the silver, that's the extra gold, that's the extra kind of XP boost, the consumable, like premium consumables and stuff like that you'll get as well. And then you also get an emblem. You get quite a few of those actually that are exclusive to the season, featured around Gladiators. Surprise, surprise. You also get a free tier 5 premium, or an additional tier 5 premium, which is the Panzer IV-H, which is actually pretty decent, I think, at tier 5. I mean, it's just basically an electric engine for a German tank. It doesn't actually do anything spectacular in the game. It doesn't offer you anything else, but that's just historically what it had, I believe. Off the top of my head, of course, you may know completely different. Maybe I got that wrong, but I'm sure that this tank had some form of electric engine or something like that. But then you move on, you get Thiago Silva 3D Standard Commander, you're getting some more emblems, and of course you'll get a skin for Thiago Silva as well, which comes with a helmeted skin. And then as you get to level 75, like you would get with the standard season pass, you get the Ares 2D Commander, but you also get the M48A2 pattern, which is the medium tank at tier 8 for the American line. Unfortunately, it's another medium pattern, which is kind of disappointing, as we've been getting them all of the time recently. But it is what it is, and I mean, it'll play very much like the Type 59 pattern. I don't think it's going to be extraordinary, and I definitely wouldn't grind the entire season pass just to get this. But, you know, if you are going and playing World of Tanks even semi-casually, you'll probably get to rank 100, so it's going to be worth it either way. And then, of course, the new Italian Tier 10 Centauro CC45T at level 100. So this is a free Tier 10 as part of the season pass for World War II mode, which is fantastic. It's an Italian auto reloader, I believe, that you can use, and this will definitely be one of the features of the videos in the next coming days, so make sure that you are subscribed, or at least keeping up to date with the channel, so you will know exactly what this tank is like. Tomorrow, most likely, we'll do a video on it, so you guys can keep up to date. And then, of course, you get the 2000 gold from the season pass itself. And that is basically it. You will get all of that. And then on the Ultimate Season Pass, it's everything that we've already talked about, but you do get additional things such as 25 levels already completed. So you'll already start at level 25 instead of 0 when you purchase the Ultimate. You'll get a 3D Hero Commander Liana, which is controversial, but we'll get onto why that is in a little while. And then you also get the AMX-30B2 Forad Escalation Era Western Alliance Medium Tank, which is Era 2 for Cold War, and that's the Ultimate Season Pass vehicle. Now, we'll have a look at this tank in a little bit and give you the brief rundown, because of course they're both new, both the Centauro and of course the AMX, and they've given the statistics usually within these articles, so we can have a look as well and let you guys know. And then of course, if you do go above and beyond just completing 100 levels, which is very easy over the course of like 7 weeks, you'll be able to then complete additional levels, which will give you additional bonus experience, whether that is a vehicle experience or commander experience. When you reach level 100, you'll get 25% more vehicle XP, so this is really good. It's basically 25% faster to grind your way through any of the tech trees. And then if you complete an additional 18 levels after that, you'll get 25% commander XP. And then if you complete a further 6 levels on top of that, you'll be able to get 25% silver as well, which is fantastic, especially if you couple it up with some of the operations that Wargaming usually do during these season passes, where you can essentially get, 5 times silver events that we have sometimes, and that means that you can then get 25% more on top of that, which is amazing, and definitely a brilliant time to actually grind out the season pass to be able to get that extra bonus to your silver. But there are some other things that we have to talk about, and of course that is the Gladiator starter pack. So when you first jump into the game, you'll be given a free starter pack that you can actually purchase in quotation marks. You have to go to the store within the game itself, and what you do is you just go down to the bundles section, and you'll see that there will be a DLC bundle which will cost you £0, 0 pence. So of course it's free, or alternatively $0, 0 cents. And whatever your actual currency is where you live, it will be free. So this is really good. It gives you 3 days of premium, 2 times silver boosters and 5 lots of those, 5 lots of 3 times vehicle XP boosters, and 5 lots of times 4 commander XP bonuses as well. So this is nice. And of course, Wargaming do this typically with the start of every new season. So make sure that you pick that up for free. And then, of course, if you do already own some of the vehicles that are within the season, you'll be rewarded with silver as well. So you'll get the silver equivalent for the tanks that you get. So, for example, if you have the Centurion RAAC, you get 2.9 million silver. If you have the Panzer IV-H, you get 1 million silver. And if you have the M48A2 pattern, you will get 3.3 million silver, or just under. So really, really good, and definitely worth grinding if you don't already have any of these tanks. And if you do have them, you'll get a nice amount of silver too. But more importantly, the new tanks. So this is the Centurion CC45T. So what is this tank all about? It's a true warrior. This Italian tier 10 medium tank is equipped with 2 gun options. The first is a traditional single shot cannon, which will be the default gun. The second is a unique and improved 4-shot auto reloading gun that greatly reduces single shell loading. So you've got 2 guns that you can use. So you can use either the single shot or you can use the 4-shot auto reloader. So similar to that of things like the Bisonte, the Rinoceronte. It has that auto reloading mechanic whereby the more rounds that you have in the clip, the faster it will reload. If you unload all 4 of your shells, it will take a lot longer to reload that first shell than it will to reload the 3rd shell or the 4th shell, and so on. You know what I mean. But the CC45T, it's all well and good looking at it, but what are the actual statistics? And we can have a quick look right now. So it's got 1800 hit points, which is kind of lackluster. I mean, not particularly great. It's got a top speed of 55 kilometers an hour, so it's quite fast. It does have a reverse of 23 kilometers an hour, so not too bad. 42 degrees a second hull traverse and 30 degrees a second turret traverse, so pretty easy to actually turn around in this thing. 9 degrees of gun depression, which is good. 15 degrees of elevation, which kind of sucks. Penetration 248, 320 with the premium, and I believe it is APCR as premium. Yep. And of course HE with 60 pens are not particularly great HE rounds, and of course it does 400 damage per shell, which means in a total clip you can deal 1600 damage, so it's on par with the T57 Heavy and the 50B, so both really good tanks in their own right. But the Centurion coming in with that auto reloader, which is completely different, and in doing that you do sacrifice usually the damage per minute of the tank, and that is what you see here. So 2,700 damage per minute, and that is if you are using it entirely as a single fire gun, which means that if you then decide that you want to use the auto reloader gun, it has horrific damage per minute of 1900. This is horrible. I mean, 1900 damage per minute makes this tank very hard to be able to get a insane amount of damage. I mean, for example, if you want to be able to actually get 10,000 damage, so that is like the pinnacle usually of having an amazing game within World of Tanks at tier 10, it is going to take you 6 entire minutes of firing exactly when you are reloaded every single time. And I think that this is done on the reload. So essentially what you'll be able to do is fire the first shell off, and essentially I don't know if the damage per minute is worked out as like the lowest value, so if you were just firing when you first reload the first shell, or whether it's calculated on the highest value it can be, which is if you have all 4 shells loaded and you're just firing 1 shell, then you reload, and then you fire another shell, and then you reload. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't look like it's particularly helpful here. I mean, I guess we could work it out. If you're looking at a 13-second reload, you times 400 by 4. Yeah, so it looks like you're basically looking at essentially having this horrible reload time. So that is worked on the highest damage per minute. So if you are unloading the full clip, it is going to take you so long to reload the entire clip. It's probably never worth using the auto reloader gun, in my opinion. 29 seconds to reload the first shell to do 400 damage. I mean, what the hell? That means that you're going to have to wait like a minute and a half, if my calculations are correct, to be able to fully reload this tank. A minute and a half of doing absolutely nothing except from reloading. Yeah, that is triple the time of the T92. I mean, that is ridiculous, but we'll have to see whether this thing is actually as bad as what I'm thinking it's going to be, because having absolutely awful damage per minute is not good in the first place. And yeah, I don't think that this is going to be particularly great, but either way, that's my initial review. I think it's going to be pretty mediocre, but there you go. And then, of course, we move on to the AMX-30B2, which is the Forad edition. And this is an escalation era, like we said about. And this tank is essentially a similar vehicle to the AMX-30B, of course, the AMX-30B2, the second version. Who'd have thought? And the AMX-30B2 is a vehicle that has both the top speed limit that you would expect from a fast Cold War medium tank going 65 kilometers an hour. You got a power to weight ratio of 20 basically, which is okay. It's nothing like outstanding for Cold War. You got 2,600 hit points, which is okay. You get a 50% silver bonus, which is probably one of the biggest things that most people look at when looking at these Cold War premiums, because let's face it, the majority of people are playing Cold War to earn silver. At least in my experience, that's the only time I really play Cold War religiously, but I'm sure there's dedicated players that do actually play the mode. But yeah, I just enjoy using some of these vehicles. But either way, you get 8 degrees of gun depression, not particularly the best for a medium tank. There are definitely way better. You got 20 degrees of elevation, which is okay, and actually you're limited by your yaw limit. So this is actually not a tank that is capable of fully traversing its turret. You can look 180 degrees to the right. What is the point in putting in the yaw limits, actually? If it's saying if you can look all the way around, I mean, I think we should know that if you don't actually state it, surely. But yeah, apparently it can look all the way around. It is what it is. But this tank can apparently turn all the way around. But what it does have is it has this penetration of 400 millimeters, which is not particularly the highest either. So there are higher. It is very good. I mean, you'll pen most things. And then, of course, you get 482 millimeters with your premium rounds. However, the problem is that the standard rounds of this tank are heat rounds, which don't typically do that well in Cold War because there's a ton of spaced armor everywhere. Everything has spaced plates that are just chucked all over vehicles. So it's going to be difficult to reliably pen things with your standard rounds, who'd have thought. And then with the premium, it is just better, gets more penetration. It's an APCR round. It is 50% faster to be able to hit your target too. So yeah, I mean, just a very, very good tank in terms of the actual rounds. And then it also gets a secondary gun, which is a 20mm, and this is capable of dealing 25 damage, but it does have 87 pen, so at least you'll be able to not pen a single thing in the game, and it's kind of pointless having. But essentially what you could be doing with this thing is it's a machine gun that can track people, I would assume, and that might come in handy for getting assistance damage in between your reloads when you are reloading, since it is a dual turreted vehicle or dual weapon, which is kind of nice. But that is this tank. It gets 520 meters view range, which is okay, definitely decent in Cold War. So I think that the tank, once again, is going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be outrageous, and you guys can make up your own mind, and we'll do a full review of this tank as well, probably on Thursday when you're watching this video on that exact week, or if you're watching it in the future, you can probably go back and just watch this video after this one. But what else do we have? Well, the skins are also available. So we have a skin for the Centauro CC45T. It will be 3,000 gold. and essentially this is what it looks like. We'll make it into a big image. It kind of looks like a rusted version of the normal tank, gets a few additional extras. You got a few like rags and towels and whatever on the back. You're getting this big metal fridge for some reason on the back of it. I don't know, it's there, and it definitely kind of looks kind of cool. And, you know, if you want to spend some extra money, maybe that's something you'll want to do. But coming on to more of the controversial things within the game, we have the Gladiator Season Commanders, which of course comes with the Ares 2D Commander, and then it comes with Thiago Silva, which is the 3D like standard commander that you can see here, and then he does have a helmet that you can put on when you do get the skin as part of the season pass. And then the most controversial 3D commander, which is this Liana commander. I mean, I'm not entirely sure who decided that this was a brilliant idea at Wargaming. Maybe the guy was just having really lots of fun when he was developing this, but I'm not entirely sure that this is exactly what everyone was calling for in the game. And yeah, it just seems like a complete miss to the audience who's going to be playing the game. Are you going to even purchase a season pass to be able to get this thing? And probably if you weren't going to purchase it, seeing this in the game, it's not going to get you to purchase it. I just don't see the relevance. It makes the game feel like it's just, I don't even know, like a tacky mobile game, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan of this. I think it's completely pointless and just detracts from the whole game. Like, I don't know. Like, what is the point in this? Wargaming, why? You introduce all of the cool content. We got some new tanks, ones that actually look fairly well balanced, and then you introduce something just like this. Like, hello, anyone there? Like, I don't know what on earth was actually going on with this, and I definitely don't think this is going to increase sales because this season has this commander in it. Yeah, I don't know, but there you go. Seems like a bit of a waste of dev time in my opinion, even though I know it probably didn't take that long to develop. It would still be better suited in other ways, and I would rather see like just a bog standard 2D commander that took like, I don't know, a day to make than having things like this in the game. But yeah, it is what it is. Either way, you've got season level buyouts, which are the ultimate no-no for the majority of people. It costs 250 gold to skip one level. It is only ever really worth buying the levels if you are very, very close and you are not going to be able to complete the season. If you get to rank 95, for example, and you really want to get the tier 10 premium for the season, then it might be worth spending the 5 lots of 250 gold for you on a personal level. Then yeah, you could do it. Of course, if you are uber rich, then don't listen to me. You can spend however many hundreds, well, probably like £100 in order to be able to actually purchase this thing, or $100 or whatever the equivalent is in the currency where you're at. So yeah, very expensive to be able to just skip the entire way. And if you are going to do it, you might as well buy the ultimate season pass, which gives you 25 extra levels and will just get you there much, much faster. So that's my opinion. And of course, I'll be interested to see what you guys think about this, but it is not the end of the video, because we actually have update notes, which is something that we haven't had, at least in an official article, for an update in a while, which will be interesting to look over, and we'll jump there now. So as a quick rundown, the update is 1.7 gig if you're on Xbox, 1.71 gig if you're on Xbox Series S and X, and if you're on PS4 and PS5, you're looking at about 1.6 gigabytes, so slightly less on the PlayStation side. But either way, skipping straight over that, we of course have the new season. We've already talked about that, but we do have the return of Serene Coast, which is actually really good. I'm looking forward to playing in the new map and giving it a go, and it's available for both World War II and Cold War, so you'll be able to play both of them, which is super, super cool. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be nice. It's great to see some of the maps coming back into the game after being out of it for so long since update 6.0 and the kind of destruction of the amount of map selection that we have in the game. So nice to see these coming back into the game slowly, and of course you'll be seeing them maybe in a few replays coming up during the next week or two, and of course after that. But in-game store has also been redesigned because that's exactly what we wanted from a perspective of trying to buy things. It's apparently so that you can find the bundles that you want so much better and so much easier, so you can pay Wargaming so much easier within the game. I always love it when I can go onto the store and they've made it very easy for me to part with my money. Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know what this is actually like in the game. From the looks of it as it is currently, it looks, I mean, does it look easier to actually understand what is in each of the packages? I don't know. They've gone with like a ribbon system, much like the garage, etc. has the same sort of layout. Use RT and LT, or R2 and L2 if you're on PlayStation, I believe. So yeah, I don't know that this is particularly something that I'm that fussed on either. I feel like it was a bit weird. I don't think it needed a redesign, but apparently it did. But we have also got the combined player list and map as well, so now you can see both the players in the game and the map at the same time when you do press the select button to overview the map. I never ever really actually look at this other than at the very start of the game to find out what tanks are in the game, as you can often just look at the minimap on the screen and it doesn't mean that you can't see anything of the gameplay behind it. So, you know, it's just a better way of looking at the minimap. And of course, maybe if you're, I don't know, visually impaired, it might help, which is a benefit. And I'm sure there are people out there that might need this. So I don't disagree with them bringing it in. And I actually think it's definitely looks better in my opinion. And it means you don't have to kind of switch between the map and the players. So it definitely a good change. And then we've got adaptive battle music. Wow. Now you'll get certain maps that have different music, which is nice. I'm not going to complain about it. And they have it for Abbey, Airfield, Cliffs, Corellia, Mines and Steps. So this is good. And then garage improvements, we have World War II co-op. It will say, it will tell you Cold War or Cold War co-op, depending on what mode you're on. So that's good. And the commander's name box in the garage has now received a new border to communicate the commander's rarity. So, wow, now you can see which of us has actually paid to be able to get some of the commanders. And yeah, I mean, love it. Definitely nice. I mean, it's nothing to complain at, but yeah, I don't know. That was the thing that I would want changed the most out of everything. But we have Cold War matchmaking improvements. So they've updated the Cold War matchmaking to address how it handles class substitution, so that you don't just get like 10 weasel toes on every side, which is obviously very annoying to come up against, as I'm sure and I've seen in the comment section of some of the videos, and me myself playing that vehicle, it was rather broken, but yeah. Other than that, there's new player co-op map selection improvements, so you can essentially, when a new player jumps into the game, they'll be kind of forced to play the co-op map or co-op mode so that they can kind of learn the game. I kind of agree with this. It means they're not coming up against seal clubbers. It's a bonus, but what would be even better is they start actually nerfing some of those broken tier 6 premiums that are horrible for new players to come up against, and even some of the most broken tier 5 medium / heavy / tank destroyer Panzer 5-4. I'm looking at you in the game, and I think that would help out the new player experience probably tenfold compared to this. I don't think it's going to make much of an impact, but nonetheless, it's nice for them to introduce, and it will definitely help out some players. But whether or not it's the best way to go about it, since they're going to be playing up against bots, and then suddenly they're faced with real players which play completely different, yeah, I don't know how beneficial it will actually be in reality, but it seems like a good idea. And then additional improvements, so duplicate earned medals within the stats section will now display the medal once with the number of times it's been earned. Bots are now more aware of enemies to their sides and rear to make better decisions when moving positions, and the new star indicator has received a new colour and a treatment as well, art treatment. And then there's been a number of issues addressed. I'm not going to go through them all. There's tons of them. So you can just pause the video here and go through them yourself if you're interested. They're kind of things like certain things weren't displaying correctly. Other things weren't quite exactly lined up, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's all sorted now. And then tanks, there's some issues with some of them, which was essentially they weren't working as intended. So the M47 Iron Arnie has got corrected gun depression over the rear of the vehicle. Obviously, it wasn't working properly. You had the T100, which had no longer the barrel was visible during the actual sniper zoom. So yeah, there was a load of things, and also they changed some of the maps to get to prevent people from getting stuck in certain spots. So yeah, definitely some benefits to this update, and overall I think it was a good update with some really weird things that they introduced as well, like the store, of course, the commander, which is basically just a bait to I mean, it's just a bait. And then, some prioritization of certain improvements and UI changes that would have probably been better to pick some of the things the community have been badgering on about. But other than that, this video is long enough as it is, and hopefully it's given you a good overview as to the new update, the new season, the Gladiator season in World of Tanks console. And hopefully you'll join me back in the next couple of videos where we do look at these new tanks and see whether they really are as good as what Wargaming are trying to hype them up as, or whether they are, as I'm expecting, to be pretty mediocre. And thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.